What is up, guys? Welcome to Jenna X. I have a really exciting show planned for you guys today. My special guest, you may have seen her from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Real Housewives of Orange County and Girls Trip. Yes, I am talking about the one, the only Taylor Armstrong. She is also the host of TNT with Taylor, her brand new podcast, and creator of Woman Yelling at Cat. Yes, guys, she is the lady. She is the face of the meme, and she is here with me now. How are you doing, Miss Taylor?
Thank you so much for having me on, Jenna. We've been wanting to do this for a while. It's happening.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Taylor, I've got to tell you, you know what? You are such an icon. I absolutely adore you. And I was just like, how crazy it was years ago. I would be sitting there drinking wine, watching my favorite guilty pleasure. And now here I am actually getting to talk to you.
I love it. Well, I'm super excited. I love all the girl power surrounding the launch of the coin. And I just so appreciate you and all the other ladies of crypto being so supportive and helping me learn the ropes.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about this, the meme. What what was it like? Like, what was happening in your life at the time of this meme? And guys, if you are not sure what we're talking about, let me pull it up with you. But what was going on in your life whenever that happened, Taylor?
In the scene where woman is yelling at cat, which is me,
Mhm.
the prior episode, my domestic abuse was outed during that episode by another cast member. And it was something that I was definitely trying to hide, not only from the cameras, but definitely from my friends and the press. And it all came out in the prior scene. And that was the next scene when we all got together again. And so what I'm saying is, you don't know what you've done to me, because I'm recognizing in those moments that my abuse is about to become very public. And I was living in a pretty dangerous situation at home, and I knew the ramifications could be quite significant. So that is what I was yelling in that moment.
How long ago was this?
That was in 2011.
And when did they actually make the meme?
The meme came out, as far as I know, the first one I ever saw was 2019. People started sending them to me. And in the beginning, as you know, it's called Woman Yelling at Cat, which is why WYAC is the symbol
Yeah.
for the meme coin. But it was just woman yelling at cat, woman yelling at cat. And then finally, one day I just tweeted, I said, the woman yelling at the cat is me. And I think people didn't know that for some time. So it was just this random woman yelling at a cat.
How did you feel when you saw that? Like, what was your first reaction to this meme?
The first reaction was, I don't get it, because the cat had nothing to do with the scene. It was just two
Mhm.
things that were put together. And of course, over the years, we've all seen those kind of juxtapositions happening in the meme world. But definitely, I couldn't figure out where the cat came from. I thought that his name is actually Smudge Lord. Here's my little stuffed Smudge Lord that I have with me, of course. But the cat was just a family cat who I guess has a lot of personality. And the cat now has like 1.7 million followers in social. And the cat apparently jumped up on the table during a dinner party, and there was a salad sitting there. And they ended up taking this picture. Like, the cat, I think, was hoping maybe for something a little more interesting than salad, and maybe was disappointed. I don't know, but the look on his face is just so priceless. His name is Smudge Lord, and he's a little celebrity cat now. I don't know. It's just crazy why they put the two of us together, but it's been really fun. And when I first saw them, people were asking me, was it upsetting for me, because that scene was a really emotional scene for me. Actually, it's really the opposite. I do a lot of public speaking. I share my story all over the place. And when I look back at that portion of my life, I feel like I'm telling someone else's story, because it's so far
Sure.
removed, and I've done so much healing and work through it. So it's also opened a lot of opportunities for me to talk about domestic abuse and prevention, because when
Mhm.
so many people have seen the meme, and then people like you let me tell the story associated with it, it opens up a
Yeah.
whole new audience to the cause of domestic violence prevention.
I love that. And I love that you're using your platform for a purpose. And that was one of the biggest things that drew me in whenever you launched your token, which we'll get more into WYAC in a little bit. But you did bring up a little bit to start to talk about the abuse in your relationship. And I know to help others and everything out there, when did the abuse start in your relationship? Were there signs before you got married?
Unfortunately, all the red flags were there. I consider myself sometimes to be a psychology 101 textbook. My earliest childhood memory was my father abusing my mother. And thankfully, and I remember it so vividly, and I was only a toddler, but my mother was extremely strong and very young. And she took me out of that situation, which I couldn't applaud her more for being so young and still having the courage to be able to do that. So I didn't grow up with a father and had definitely suffered self-esteem issues and would allow myself to get into controlling relationships because of my self-esteem. I believe I would let people push me a little further than I should have. And when I met my abuser, my former husband, he definitely had a lot of signs of jealousy, but at the same time, he had a real knight in shining armor effect on me because he would say, I don't want you to work. I want you to be able to stay home. You deserve this life and you should have a baby. And it all sounded so romantic and very Prince Charming like. I want you to sell your company. I had a textile business at the time, a baby bedding company. And, but all of those things sounded incredibly romantic at first. And then as time went by, I realized it was actually just a way to control me because taking away my ability to take care of myself financially. And now I'm a mother. And then those things just escalated with his ability to control me. It was very scary how it happened and how I didn't see the red flags, or maybe I just ran by them because I wanted to believe that the relationship, once we moved forward, like a little further, the more commitment we had, would we get married, like all of a sudden he's going to believe I'm not going anywhere so that the jealousy would subside. But unfortunately, that's never the case.
Right. Taylor, how many times did you try to leave and how hard was it to actually leave?
Statistically, people attempt to leave about 7 times before they leave for the final time. Unfortunately, those are really sad numbers. A lot of people leave and come into shelter and then decide that it's just easier to go back than to try to forge their own way with their kids and perhaps maybe not having a job and recognizing that they need the support of their abuser financially. So for me, the biggest challenge was I was on television the whole time. We were filming, not the whole time, but we were filming Real Housewives. And so I felt as though he would change a little bit more because he knew the cameras were there and that this could become so public. And I think I had high hopes that because our life was on camera, because abusers can be good when they want to be good and they can be horrible. But those good times, I kept thinking, because we're on camera, he's going to want the world to think that the good times are always the times, that there are no bad times. And I believe that subconsciously, I thought the cameras would provide that protection. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So with me, it was more of a roller coaster effect because I didn't want to leave on camera. I didn't want to leave in a public forum. So I would stay and just ride this roller coaster and drag my friends along with me because I would say, I'm leaving. And then I would stay and they'd see me at a charity event holding his hand and they would think I thought you said you were leaving. And then they get frustrated. And this happens all the time in domestic abuse because your friends hear you say, this person's horrible to me, I'm leaving, and then you stay and they think, well, which is it? Is he horrible to you? Why are you staying? Like, it's so hard for people that haven't been in a domestic violence situation to understand why the hell you would stay.
Right. Did you lose friends during that time or were they supportive whenever you finally made the decision?
I definitely had friends that turned their back on the whole thing. And out of complete frustration and the lack of being able to understand. I mean, I had a lot of powerful women around me that had incredible support systems and they were my support system too. And they just kept thinking, how is this possible? She has all these opportunities to leave, but yet she's staying. And having a child complicates matters so significantly. My abuser had major anger management issues, and the thought of sharing custody with someone, with my little girl, was just unfathomable to me. And so staying was almost a way of saying, I would rather deal with the abuse personally than have an opportunity for him to be abusive to my child. And that didn't end up being a problem because he committed suicide and we never had to have shared custody. But I do know there are a lot of people stay in the relationship longer than they should because of the fear of letting your children go and be with someone who's a complete rageaholic without you there to supervise the situation.
Wow. That is a lot. You have been through it. Like, thank you so much. And I know others have mentioned in the chat, and people that you talk to every day, for having the courage to speak out about this, because that's a lot for one to go through and endure, definitely. Just the last note on this, what could you say to someone who is going through this, to a woman who is in this right now? Any words of comfort or, any advice you could give?
I think that the thing that when you're in it, first of all, it's so hard to see that there is life after, but I can tell you there is life after, and that there's a whole future waiting for you out there with someone or people around you that treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, and that your self-worth is so much greater than where you're sitting right now. But more importantly, it's trying to create a safety net around people that are being abused, because the most dangerous point in a domestic violence relationship is when the victim decides to leave for the last time, because abuse is about control. It's completely control and power over someone else. And when you leave for that final time, the abuser now comes to the conclusion that they've actually lost all control. So having a safety plan and an escape plan and an amazing network around you to get you to safety when you make that decision is key. You do need to make a plan. So I would say just surround yourself with people and have an exit strategy.
Have an exit strategy for an abusive relationship and your crypto, guys, because it's important to have both. So
Absolutely.
Taylor, and this kind of leads us to, you're doing this project, WYAC, Woman Yelling at Cat, and you have you also want to help empower women through this. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about your journey into crypto and how you ended up making WYAC?
Absolutely. I was looking a lot when the NFT space was evolving, and I have a lot of incredible people around me who were talking to me a lot about the NFT space, and I was really trying to learn, and I just didn't feel prepared at that time. And so when the whole meme coin thing started happening, I mean, the meme has been probably number 5 or number 6 of the most famous memes in history, and it's known all over the world. I mean, the renditions of it are just incredible, and people are so talented and creative. I'll have to send you some that are hanging on my wall in the studio here. But there have just been so many, and it's so very recognizable. There's merchandise everywhere. And I just thought, I've never done anything with it. So this might be a good time to take the story behind the meme, which we spoke about earlier, just in support of raising awareness for domestic abuse. And so a meme with a purpose and a message behind it gives me a larger platform to share my story and also the stories of countless others, and just opening the eyes of a whole new community.
I love that. I think that's amazing. I mean, you've already built a really, really strong community. Everybody in there, they're all in good spirits, good vibes. They totally love it. So what are some of your goals for the project? Other goals? I did see recently you just did a partnership with HelloMoon.io. Said that's bringing novel utilities and experiences to the blockchain. I'm not even sure what that means. If you could totally explain that to us.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
You have a partnership with HelloMoon.io. I read a tweet. I'll pull it up. It says that your partnership, you guys are going to bring novel utilities and experiences to the blockchain. So I was wondering if you could just kind of tell us a little bit more about that partnership.
Hello Moon is an incredible company. I'm sure you're familiar with them. They I got introduced because of Uncle Eddie and the relationships that he has with some of the people I'm working with, my awesome team. They're just incredible. And they're always coming up with new innovative ideas to raise awareness with the meme and the cause behind it. And we're working on, web development and different ideas to make the meme more interactive for people that want to get involved. And one of the big projects that my team has worked on is onboarding and helping people, normies, as you guys say. I'm learning all the lingo, how to onboard people, because I have so many friends that are super excited about the project and they don't understand crypto and, maybe are a little nervous about getting involved with it just because of, the press and things that have gone around. And my team created this really user-friendly guide of how to get on and how to buy WYAC and other coins as well, of course, which I'm super excited about, having the opportunity to share that and all the work that went into really simplifying the process. So between our relationship with Hello Moon and all the other fun ideas that our team has, I think Hello Moon is going to be a great vehicle to execute on all the creativity that our team comes up with on a daily basis.
Now, do a lot of your friends, are they invested in crypto or at least like really interested in it?
A lot of my friends are very interested. And that's why I was so thankful for when my team put together that user guide, because I was able to send that out to some of my friends to say, this is not as complicated as it seems. I mean, it's certainly not easy. I think that we nailed down like a pretty straightforward 4-step process to get involved, but they're definitely watching, and I think they want to see how this goes, and they're learning at the same time, and they're definitely interested. A lot of my world comes from traditional finance, so they see things from a different perspective, but they're definitely active in the stock market. And so, so they're familiar with fluctuations. Probably not as many fluctuations as we get in crypto, but they're definitely not risk adverse. I'm just hoping that, this crypto is not going anywhere. It's like AI. So you may as well get on board with it because it's here to stay.
Once you get them using these swaps on Solana, I have a feeling you're going to turn some of your friends into full-blown degens.
The problem is that you guys never sleep, and now I'm starting to never sleep. I just love listening to everyone on Spaces, and I think the first few weeks I was on, I just couldn't stop listening, and it would be like 4, 5 in the morning, and I would think I have got to go to sleep because I have to get up in a few hours. And then the minute I would get up, I would start listening while I was getting ready. It becomes a passion, but also just a learning curve. I learned so much just by listening to everyone all the time.
Well, I think too, have you noticed, like, if you're quiet or you're actually doing real world things or, just not on the internet enough, people start freaking out. Like, I got DMs like, Taylor's been quiet, da, da, da. And I'm like, listen, she has like a life outside crypto. She's not on the computer like 24/7 like we are, guys. Like, there's a life.
I don't know. I feel like I'm starting to become like a crypto junkie. I can't stop. I just have to, I'm listening to it in my car on my way to the studio.
Yeah.
I like a long drive. And so I love listening to it. It's like, it's a whole new world, but also just the personalities it's almost like its own reality show listening to some of these people.
Oh, yeah. So what's the hardest part about running your own crypto project?
About running, I'm sorry?
About having your own crypto project, what's the most difficult part?
I would say for me, because I'm a people pleaser, I don't want anyone to be disappointed. I want everyone to succeed, and feeling the pressure of making sure that I'm doing everything I can so that people who are invested in WYAC know that I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. It's disappointing to me that there have been, I guess they call this a celebrity coin. I'm sad that there have been people who represent the celebrity coin, I guess, world that have done things that were unethical, in my opinion, because it just gives it a bad name. And so it's most important for me is to see the people that have invested in WYAC and the messaging and have really rallied behind the cause and the coin and are having fun with it, that they succeed and that they know that this is they can trust me and I'm here to stay. I just can't say it enough. I know that was so much hesitation in the beginning, and we're, 6-7 weeks in at this point, and we're just we're going to just keep forging ahead. And I want everyone that has stood behind me to have great success and to be proud of this project.
Absolutely. What has your experience been with crypto influencers in the space?
I I really have seen that they've been welcoming to me, and perhaps that's because of my conviction to the cause. Also, they've been really open to listening. Over the years, the meme's been around, oh my gosh, now for 5 years, and we launched this on the
Yeah.
5th anniversary. But they've seen the meme over the years, and never having known what the story is behind it, they've been very open to letting me share that. And it, as I was saying earlier, it just opens up the eyes and ears of a whole nother audience to recognize the significance of domestic violence in our world, unfortunately.
100%. Um, After the show, once you finish with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I know you're on Orange County now and everything. Um, how did life change for you? How did reality TV actually change your everyday life?
So after, so I had the very last time my abuser hit me was on my birthday, of course, because that's a real nice
Oh,
birthday present to give someone. But
oh,
so he fractured my orbital floor, which, you know, you're in the whole UFC world, so you know that that's a pretty
yeah.
significant injury. Yeah, he fractured my orbital floor, and so I had reconstructive surgery. I have a titanium implant under my right eye, and thank God my surgeons were amazing and saved my eye. But then about a month later, I found my then husband hanging. And so at that point, I really couldn't go anywhere. The paparazzi were crazy. You know, LA is the Mecca. And I couldn't leave my house. I was getting chased everywhere. My little girl was 5 at the time. And I just thought, I have to get out of LA, because we really couldn't go anywhere without just swarms of paparazzi. And I didn't want that for her, obviously, but I couldn't handle it anymore. I was trying to recover from being abused for 6 years and then finding him hanging, and it was just insane. And so I decided to get out of LA for a while, and I moved to Vail, Colorado, and I just skied my ass off as much as possible. I would just get up on the mountain. I had post-traumatic stress disorder really severely, and I would just try to get up on top of the mountain and breathe and look out over this vast array of beauty, and just realize that I'm so small in the grand scheme of the world, and to stop thinking that everything was so big in my life, because it was overwhelming. There was just way too much going on. I was left with 2 lawsuits, which goes back to, again, to the coin, is that I think that crypto and women learning about crypto, like you supporting me and all the other women and everyone, it's just
Yeah.
another avenue to financial freedom, which I didn't have when I was with my former husband. And it's something you can do from home as a mom. There's just so many different things. But I went up on the mountain and was dealing with so many lawsuits and everything that he left me, and just tried to breathe for a few years, and did a lot of skiing and a lot of soul searching. And that to me was my version of therapy.
You seem so just free now. You seem
I
like you vibrant.
Thank you. I wish that other women, I guess my goal is for other people that are in a domestic violence relationship or situation today, as we sit here, that they will hear my voice and my story and know that there is life after. There is life after. I promise. You just need to find the courage within.
100%. Absolutely. Like when you're going through it, it's complete hell. I've been through, my story's a little bit different than yours, but I can relate to it on a lot of levels. And it was funny, Taylor, whenever I'm practicing for MMA, they were like, "Are you sure you can take a hit in the face?" And I'm thinking, I'm gonna be all right. Like,
I
you know
wish
what I
that
mean?
wasn't the answer. I wish that wasn't the answer. I hate that. I'm so excited for you though. That's so cool. Maybe it takes some of your
Thank
old
you.
frustrations out. But the unfortunate thing over and over again is to exactly what you just said, is that you can relate. And I wish
Right.
so badly that people couldn't relate to what it's like to go through it. And unfortunately, like, I literally am approached every single day about someone sharing their story with me. And when I do charity events for domestic violence shelters and do public speaking, I say, I hope someday you guys have no jobs. I hope every domestic violence shelter shuts down because no one is hitting each other out of anger any longer. Unfortunately, it's on the rise. And, you know, during COVID, it was horrible. And I don't think my dream of shelters shutting down is ever going to happen. So my goal is to be able to make them a more luxurious experience, for lack of a better word. I want, when someone gets the courage and finds that they're ready, I want them to check in to something that looks like a hotel, that makes them feel good about themselves, not something that's very institutional feeling. And that's some projects that I'm working on with my own foundation, separate from the coin, but just to enhance the relaxation and the experience of when you are brave enough to leave. I want you to be able to be at peace and relax in surroundings that make you feel safe and comfortable. Because that's just another reason to want to go, to know that you have something beautiful waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's anyone out there watching and they feel compelled to help and support what you're doing, how could they get involved?
The hotline.org is probably the best resource for all things domestic violence. And I point people there a lot. They have a myriad of resources. And going back to something you asked earlier about the leaving, part of the fear of not leaving, especially when you're with someone who has financial control over you, which is so often the case. There are so many services out there that I didn't even recognize existed, because my abuser would tell me, if you leave, I'll just bury you in court because I have all the money. And I really believed that that was the case. And he said, you know, I'll just drag you through the court system for so long, you'll never be able to keep up with me. And I believed that. I mean, also because he was telling it to me over and over again. But then he would say, you know, I have more money than you, I'll get custody of our daughter. And just the threats were on. And I didn't really feel like I had a lifeline. But if you go on the hotline.org, and there's many other places, there are so many services out there. They level the playing field when it comes to litigation. You're one person having greater resources. They don't get to take advantage of you in that way. There are just so many programs that help with, even when you're finishing shelter, but there's job placement, job training while you're in shelter. And they will help create a life for you after. And there's utility subsidies once you get out and you start your new life. There's so many programs out there, and places like the hotline.org are a really good resource just to go on and say, okay, I'm not going to be in this alone. There's court advocates that will work for you. There's just a lot of opportunities to help you move past this horrible life that you're living right now.
That's great. That's a great resource. Thank you for sharing that. Definitely. I mean, there's definitely someone out there watching, and if your story helps one person, you know, it's so worth it, right?
I couldn't agree more. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, my abuser committed suicide, and murder, suicide in domestic violence relationships are very common. And so the fact that my life was spared and my daughter's life was spared, I feel as though I was left here to continue the message and tell my story. It's paramount that I do that, in order to say, this is why I'm here. I'm telling my story so that someone else hopefully doesn't have to live through it, or can leave and start the new beautiful life that's waiting in front of them.
Absolutely. And you are proof of that. You are remarried now, correct?
Yes, remarried.
Yes.
Remarried.
And awesome. That's amazing. And you have started your own podcast, The Naked Truth, with Taylor and also Gemma. Awesome.
Yeah,
What are some of the topics that you guys talk about?
Well, The Naked Truth is kind of stripping down and just being your authentic self. So it's just a place you can come, and we just talk about everything. Today we did an episode on fetishes, which was really fun, and it's just us having fun. We do a Margarita Monday, Coffee Talk Tuesday, but we talk about everything from, I don't know, menopause to beauty to crypto. It's really just runs the gamut, and we're having a great time with it. We've had some incredible guests on. One of my girlfriends, you would love her. She's a powerhouse. I call her Rocket Girl. She's an aerospace engineer. And she's also climbed all 7 summits. So she's a woman all about empowerment too. She's a
Wow.
badass. And I don't know if she's is a badass enough to be an MMA fighter, but I'm just she's pretty badass.
I think those of us that are slightly crazy, just a little crazy, honestly.
I think it's very cool. You must
Taylor,
be in
I've got to
like
ask.
totally rad shape though.
Well, I was thinking that you were in really awesome shape, and I was going to ask you what you do to stay so fit.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just genetics. I was in athletics growing up and stuff. So I think it's probably just more genetics or the fact that I never sit still, which is
Okay.
probably something I should work on a little bit more, like meditation and sitting still. Gemma and I, my co-host and I went to a wellness retreat and I tried my best to meditate and sit still. And I was just terrible at it. So I'm just running around. And now that I'm in the crypto world, you guys never sleep either. So you're just adding fuel to my fire.
I suck at meditating and staying still, but I've seen actually some of the crypto traders, they have treadmills at their little trading stations to make sure they get exercise. I don't know if I'm that coordinated, but I see them do it.
I love it. I think it's great. Awesome.
Okay, Taylor. So kind of to take it to the naked truth, I read that you actually, and I think this is really cool, decided to come out last year publicly and admit that you were bisexual. What made you finally just be like, you know what, this is me. I don't care.
It was just funny. Well, so Tamra, who was on Real Housewives of OC, I was on with her that season, and she knew. And so then I think she kind of was like, "Okay, tell us something we don't know about you." And I'm like, "Okay, Tamra, I got your number. I know where you're going with this one." So I'm just gonna say it instead of being like, "Oh, I'm a Gemini" or just something, because she wasn't gonna let it go. So I'm like, "It's fine. Let's just put it out there." And I believe that why give up the love of 50% of the world if you're open to love from all different directions. That's how I feel about it. And I had a girlfriend for some time, and my daughter knows about it, and my husband knows about it, and everybody else in my life knows about it. So I'm totally fine with saying it out loud. It just was kind of funny that it came out on the show.
Oh, I think that's great though. You know what? And I think it caught so many people off guard, because they just don't expect, and I don't know why, they just still feels like it's naughty. You know what I mean?
Naughty. It's funny. Yeah, it actually is just not that naughty. I have news.
It's not. It's like 2024, guys.
Right. It's real relationships. It's not, I'm not swinging from the rafters or anything nearly that exciting. But yeah, that's true. That's so funny. I think it's ironic because when I first did one of the first spaces, someone said, "Oh, well, now this is worlds colliding. Now we've got a housewife in crypto." And I think it's kind of the same as when a housewife says I'm bisexual, that people go, "What? You're a real housewife. Like you can't be bisexual. Like you have to be like a real housewife. Just sit at home and act like a wife." So I think
Right?
it was kind of similar, worlds colliding.
That's too funny. It's like that perspective that you just have to be this like good girl or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a
It's too
Stepford
funny.
wife.
Exactly, right? But anyway, Taylor, so I know that you guys have a lot going on with your token, your project, you're constantly building, you're not going anywhere. I love that. Do you have any crypto conferences or any events coming up?
I'd love to go to a crypto conference. I think you just did one in Nashville, right?
Actually, that one's this week. Do you want to go?
I would love to go. Nashville is one of my very favorite cities. I love it there. Last time I was there, I was a little blown away because I hadn't been there since I was a child, and I had no idea what was going on in Nashville. I was staying right by the area. I can't remember the name. What's the name of that main street there? I can't think of it right now. But
Broadway?
yeah,
I mean, on Broadway.
I was doing a speaking engagement there on relationship inequality. And I spoke in the morning, and then I walked out of the hotel, and I'm like, "What is happening? It's 11 o'clock, and people are dancing on bars doing shots." It was insane. So yeah, I'll go.
Awesome. I have the ticket hookup for that. So I could definitely get you connected, but I think you should definitely go. It's going to be a great time, and they're going to have a karate combat fight there on Thursday night. They are insane events.
Are you going to fight?
I'm
You gonna do it?
watching. I'll be in the VIP watching this one. My
Okay.
fight is supposed to be in Singapore in September.
That's right. I knew it was going to be in Singapore. That's going to be amazing.
I'm really looking
Well, if I
forward.
come to Nashville, I have to bring Smudge.
Please bring Smudge. Bring Gemma. Bring Smudge. Let's
Bring
have a
stuffed
party.
Smudge. Take him with me.
Love it.
I have to bring the stuffed version because I don't think the other one's going to want to go to a conference with me. Although Smudge Lord does CatCon. Did you know there's a CatCon?
There's really a CatCon? Stop it.
There's a CatCon.
Oh my gosh.
You know, people love cats. That's why all these memes with cats in them are, I think, so very popular because people love their little kitties. I was going to use the other word, but I decided not to.
Oh, you were gonna say pussies.
I was.
Does that get us deboosted on YouTube or something? Are they like, I can't monetize you because you said pussy on YouTube?
I don't know. I think you're going to be fine.
I think I'll be all
you.
right.
We're
not worried about it.
They don't want to go
my
to
gosh.
an MMA fighter and a Housewives fighter. I don't think they want that combo. It's too scary.
They don't want none.
Yeah, because I get paid to fight for a living, but it's a different kind of fighting than what you're doing.
We have a random question. Can cats really see different dimensions? I've heard that they could.
Cats?
Do you know, Taylor? Yeah. Can they see in different dimensions?
Well, I mean, my guys are shaking their head yes. So they typically know things that I don't know. I don't know. My guys, like, they're saying yes, cat. But okay, how would you know? Because you're not like inside of it. How would you know what a cat is saying? I don't know about all this.
We're gonna have to research this. Cats can see ghosts. Okay, this is great. All right, Taylor. Well, thank you so much for coming on, spending some time, opening up about your life, personal details, your journey and everything. That means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to so many people out there, and how genuine you are, and also just talking about your project and being transparent about everything that you're doing. I know the community really appreciates that. The spaces that you're doing, I think you're doing those spaces weekly, kind of popping on, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, guys. And if you want to learn more about Taylor's projects, I have her link tree below in the comments. Definitely check that out. All the links are there. The proper ones, if you are looking for the token, obviously not financial advice. We don't give that here. For, full disclosure, I'm a WYAC holder and I plan on being one for a very, very long time. I love this lady. I love what she's all about. So love that community. But thank you so much, Taylor. Everyone is just showing you so much love in the comments. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
You are awesome, Jenna. Thank you so much, honey. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully I will see you in Nashville.
Please, let's do it.
All right. Peace out.